Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Mental Toughness and Body Show. On this show today, we're going to talk about experiential living, and our guest today is going to blow you away with his business and provide you with some once in a lifetime opportunities with his incredible luxury driving experiences. Now, obviously on this podcast, we have interviewed people from all walks of life, and today we have entrepreneur and experiential adventurist Sven Sperling. Sven, how are you?
Great. Thank you for having me, Rob.
Oh, look, thank you for being on the show. It's a real honor to have you, and I love your background there at Red Bull. It is a perfect introduction into what it is that you do. So perhaps, Sven, I know you do a range of different things which we can get into, but let's talk about your Mega Drive business and tell us a little bit about what your business model is and where the inspiration came for getting into that business.
Okay, so if you're looking at those race cars, we kind of do exactly the opposite. So our focus is on off-road driving experiences. So where you use the four-wheel drives and you go off the road, you are not staying on the racetrack. Of
Yeah.
course, we do those experiences as well, but somehow it developed that our expertise went into this direction. And this, to be honest, came from my personal passion for off-road driving. I love nature. I love to go to places where you normally can't go, except you have the right equipment. And then you can enjoy pure nature. And like in your country, in Australia, without a four-wheel drive, you're kind of screwed if you want to explore the whole country.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
this is exactly what we do. And yeah, since it was my personal passion, it kind of developed into a business. I didn't have a business plan for this specific one. My background is actually IT, so that has nothing to do with these experiences. But since we obviously did a great job with these things where you have these, once in a lifetime experiences, these wow experiences, we were sought after and it developed into something pretty big by now.
So it's really quite unique. So maybe to give the listeners a bit of an idea, maybe tell us about some of the locations you go to, and because people can think, oh, forward driving, yeah, you're driving along a beach or whatever. But um, tell us about what are some of these wow, unique experiences, because when you read about it, it's like, oh, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, we have, let's say, for one client, or the better wording or more perfect wording is partner, is Mercedes-Benz, where the four-wheel drive, the iconic, the square one, the G-Wagon or G-Class gets built in Austria. There, Mercedes built, I call it a playground for grown-ups, where we have on a location about 20 acres, um, where we play around for a whole day with clients. They come from all over the places in the world, and they have the chance to have a plant tour where the G-Class gets built. So this is,
Okay.
let's say, our uh, base, or one of our bases, where people come to. And then on the other hand, we go to other places like throughout Europe, the Alps. Then we go to North Africa, like Morocco, Tunisia, all depending on the security, the politic, the yeah. For example, to go to Algeria right now is probably not the best idea due to safety reasons. So we
Right.
always have to figure out what is the situation and evaluate it if we can go there with clients, because we have a big responsibility. And then, for example, this is once in a lifetime experience, like you again in Australia can experience in the center, like Ayers Rock area, where you are in the nature and you look at the sky in the night and you see so many stars you haven't seen before. If you're living in a city like Sydney or Berlin or something like that, this
Yeah.
is something people never experienced before. And one very unique experience is if you are in the desert, in the dunes, in the Sahara Desert, for example, there is no noise at all.
Yeah. Complete
There are
silence.
no flies, there are no frogs, there's no noise, and if there's no wind, there's just nothing. And we had clients who had trouble to fall asleep because of silence.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Wow.
this is an experience.
Yes, yes, it is. And look, I believe that life comes down to a series of experiences, doesn't it? I mean, we get so caught up in the day-to-day busyness of life and everything that we have to do. And if you have an opportunity to do something so unique, it's like you say, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I think if you get that chance, then you should do it. And most of the people that experience your tours, are they, is it a blend of people that, because you mentioned about the G-Wagon, like people that are Mercedes-Benz nuts, they're really into four-wheel driving, and those people that, well, they don't want to be driving, but they'd like to be a passenger and, experience some of this off-roading?
Yeah, this is something where there's competition out there, no doubt. And this is where we are kind of unique, that we offer a very wide range. So we are not just offering this tour only with G classes, for example, only for experienced people. So we are using in our fleet, in our company, different brands of off-road vehicles with different advantages and disadvantages. Everything in what life has two sides of the coins.
Yes.
And we have beginners, and therefore we start, for example, with an extended weekend in the Alps, for example, where we spend 2 nights in a hotel and 1 night in a tent, so that people can get the feeling how it is to sleep in a tent and not have a luxury room in a hotel
Yeah.
or resort. And then on the other end, we have the guys, yeah, mostly guys on this end. The first question is, what is your toughest tour? Yeah, the most challenging tour.
Right.
And they really want to challenge themselves, their skills, and the vehicle, and yeah, the circumstances. Because off-road driving is not all about speed, it's about skills. And this, I always like to refer to business. You have to look 8 steps ahead, what
Mm.
will appear. For example, if you drive in different off-road surfaces, you can, by reading the road, prepare the vehicle with differential locks and stuff like that before it gets critical.
Yes.
And this is something, yeah, I love, because there it's not all about your skills in the very specific moment. It's about the skills you're preparing for the upcoming moments.
Yes.
So this is something, yeah, I love very much, and people are surprised how big the differences are if you gain awareness of what you have to pay attention for.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so obviously this is a part of the where you spend most of your time, I suppose. But you said you're in IT, so do you have a blend of businesses that you're working on?
Yeah, we actually, yeah, I came from, let's say, web-based data programming in the late 90s. That's where I started. And then we yeah, had a little tour through software trainings for big brands like SAP and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And for Bosch, for example, for ECU units, software developers, something very specific. So we usually, or this is our thing which makes us unique, we go in the niche where the standard software, yeah, hits the limit, then we jump in. So there is no typical work we do. We do, or we start working if the normal ones stop. So we love the challenges, and then we develop very customized solutions.
Okay. So how do you split your time between the businesses? Obviously, you have a team that works with you on both sides of business, or maybe there's other businesses you run too, but how do you split your time?
It varies because if we have bigger projects launching, then I'm really into it, and
Yep.
I go first in the front row with my team, and
Yeah.
then I train them, and then once we have settled and established the project, then I have the team leaders, project leaders taking over. For example, the project in Graz in Austria with the G-Class Experience Center, I just go there a couple of times a year to just show my presence, but I don't have to do daily work.
Okay.
And we had, for example, another project we launched last year. We do at the Mercedes-Benz truck factory. We do the plant tours. It's something
Okay.
totally different,
Yeah,
and
that's pretty
we have
cool.
a team there. So this was one part where I spent most of my time last year. And this year, I'm focusing on expanding our tours and trips. And here I have another one who will take that on. But this year I spend probably, 60-70% focusing on our own tours, because if you work with the big corporate world, it's sometimes it's kind of very, very slow.
Yeah.
And this annoys me. You have meetings and meetings, and it's hard to really talk to one decision maker because there are several decision makers on different levels, on the legal side, on the CI side. It's the marketing and everything. So this is sometimes, let's say, challenging.
Mm.
And I like to be faster. And I compared always with the big freight ship. They can deliver a lot,
Yes.
but they're very slow in changing their direction. And
Yes.
I love to have some speedboats with
Yeah.
us where we can react very quickly. And this is especially in the event space, very helpful if you're extremely flexible in nowadays. We have realized projects within just 1 week preparation. For example, shooting for a new vehicle in Spain, we had the requirement of all different kinds of landscapes and settings, and we have partners all over Europe, and we were able to make that happen within 1 week, including the
Wow.
whole equipment, accommodation, and logistics for the whole team. And so this is where
Impressive.
we need the speedboats, and I'd like to grow our fleet with speedboats.
So it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate and managing the team, and just like it's hard enough when you're managing a team in your business that's in the one building, never mind like different countries and the corporations and everything that you're dealing with and the politics, and then you've got the added issue of like safety in countries and so forth. What would you say is or are the biggest challenges that you face in business and how you manage those?
Uh, it's coming down to people,
Mm.
really finding the right team, finding the perfect fit. And there, last 2-3 years we were growing a lot, and I'm I wasn't sure whether I just should onboard a team and just go with it and accept that they are not always A players, or should I go and keep moving and onboarding more and more people to filter out only A players? And to be honest, I think in the meanwhile you need A, B, and C players,
Mm-hmm.
but you should focus on A players definitely.
Yes.
And if you don't have in each department a couple of A players, this is my goal, to keep enrolling new people until you find the perfect fit.
Yeah, it's nice. It's constantly evolving, isn't it? And when you think you've got the right team in place, some key players move.
Yes, because your structure is moving, your culture is changing, the circumstances is changing, individual circumstances, families, and stuff like that, relationship,
Yes.
relationship, falling apart relationship and everything, which is part of life, affects your team. And of course, this is probably one of the most important thing you should pay attention as an entrepreneur, to focus on the right people.
Yes.
And if it's not the right fit, keep moving until you find it. And then once you found them, do everything to keep them.
Yes. What do you think your superpower is, Sven?
My superpower is I as I said earlier, there are always two sides of the coin, but I can juggle with a lot of things at the same time, or of course not at the same time, but within a certain time frame, working on different projects, and make sure that they stay on track.
Yeah, nice. And so given like 2024, you've obviously had a lot of success, and I find that all successful people are always looking to grow. What would be an area this year where you think, well, yeah, like this is a bit of a weakness, or an area where I would like to really focus on this year to make better? What would that be for you?
My focus in this year 24 is not growing the size of the team, maybe even reduce a little bit, kind of take a step back, and build a more solid foundation, because I guess we are facing a pretty stormy time, which might be around the corner, kind of economic wise. And so therefore it's better to maybe slow down in a certain way, which means on the other end, focus on growing the margin instead of the volume.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Smart thinking. And in terms of, if you look at how long you've been in business, like success normally comes with sacrifice. What would you say have been some of the sacrifices you've had to make along your journey?
Yeah, it's time is the most precious good we have in life. And if you let's say, this is my experience, my personal experience. If you focus on business, the sacrifice, you realize in the family.
Yes.
So you can spend every weekend or every vacation with the family. You have to make a decision, which is the most important thing for you. And in my case, really, to be an entrepreneur, this is my life. So to have days off is not something I'm looking for. It's to integrate it in the daily life. Business has the biggest part, and I have to admit that I love it. And that's how I am and who I am. And this is in the meanwhile, if people have a problem with it, it's their problem and not mine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, business is certainly tough. Before, I worked in corporate for 19 years, and then I thought I'd worked hard. And then when I started running my own business, I'm like, I didn't know what hard work was and what focus was. And certainly that 7 day a week is something that you've got to love. And it is. I mean, you don't work. You just, well, I certainly find that I
Exactly.
love the challenge and so forth. So maybe that's a nice segue into what would a typical day look like for you in terms of perhaps how, obviously I'm passionate about health and wellness and so forth, but how you take care of yourself, how you set yourself up for success each day in business and so forth. What's a typical day?
Yeah, that's a lesson I learned in life. if I don't do the most important thing health-wise as first thing in the morning, other stuff get in the way, and then in the evening, I'm not doing it.
Yes.
So kind of doing workout. If I don't do it in the morning, I will not do it later on. So this is first thing in the morning. And then it's what I realized, it is not hard to get up early. The harder part is to get to bed early enough.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great.
Very big lesson for me. I
Yeah.
always tried to get up early, and it was so hard until
Yes.
I realized getting up early is not a problem. Go to bed on the right time. That is the bigger challenge.
Yeah.
And
What time do you get up?
it's depending on traveling and so forth. But if I'm at home, I get up at 5:30,
Yeah.
and then I can do some work until 8. And so this is a time where no one is calling you,
Yeah.
no one is writing an email and stuff like that, except the Australians. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
No, you're right though. It's the same. Same here.
Yeah, and then I feel I have done already a lot, and this is making a change in my personal perception how productive I was during the day.
Yes.
Because if you start, for example, at 9 o'clock, then everybody is coming to you, phone calls and all this stuff, and then you're just fighting the day. And in the evening, you have done a lot, but you don't feel you have done a lot. And
Yeah.
if you start in the morning early and you do things before normal day life starts, then you have done really quite a few things. And I focus, for example, in marketing and posting and strategies and thinking, because if I get up in the morning, of course, I have a clear mind. And excuse me. And then I'm way more productive, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I can relate exactly to what you say. And even though, like, I've restructured my whole life to focus on helping others with their health and wellness and so forth, I find as well the best time for me to do my workouts is first thing in the day, because I have really busy days. I have long days. And so getting up early, getting that exercise done, tick, you've done that thing for the day. Focus on those tasks that you can do before you get really busy. Obviously, I have clients that start from 5 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. So that means I can't do that work early in the morning. So I might be back to back for a few hours, but then I can focus on those things that require perhaps that creativity and that focus. And then by the time it gets to later in the day, I can focus on building those relationships and having conversations and meetings and stuff to give it doesn't require as much attention to detail, if you like, that I need it first thing in the morning. And then I like to set myself up for success when I'm sitting in bed at night for the next day. And it's just, I do that 7 days a week to help me keep getting things done. So we've got to make that progress. So I love your approach to it. I wanted to talk about with the experiences that you provide now, are you finding, like, in the space of sustainability, is there more and more pressure on you to be, I don't know, whether it's providing electric vehicles or whether there's any pushback that, whatever the perception is, that you're tearing up the Sahara Desert in these diesel guzzling machines and that kind of stuff? Like, is that a focus in your business to the sustainability, but still providing a unique experience?
In regards of off-roading, this is still a challenge due to there are no power or charging station in the desert, you know.
Yes, yes.
And if you look at the race cars, the Formula E, this is advancing a lot.
Mm.
And if we do, for example, we have another tour, the European tour for overseas clients, and they like to experience the European brands. Then we have all the different parts. We go on a racetrack. We go to exactly the Red Bull racetrack in Austria.
Okay.
This is one of our, yeah, let's say main location. Or we go to other places, but the Red Bull racetrack is one where we go, because there we have also the opportunity to go through the woods. They have about 1,200 acres,
Wow.
which belong to Red Bull, close to the racetrack. So we start to have combinations where we can pay attention to the sustainability. And what we do, for example, is if we if we go camping, if we really go into the wilderness, there we have all the equipment we use. We collect firewood, which is there, so we are not carrying a lot of stuff.
Yeah, or
And
cutting down trees or anything like that.
yes, and we try to, and I call it actually going back to the roots. Have a shower in a river or in a spring or something like that.
Yes.
Uh, that we have the wide range, let's say, from luxury on one end
Yes.
to pure nature on the
Nature.
other end. And
Yeah.
we combine this within one tour.
Yeah.
And this is pushing people to think about some things.
Yes. That's true. Yeah, that's awesome. Really awesome. How do you keep evolving your business? Like, well, what's your mindset there so that you don't just get stuck into the same, oh, well, we did this, we've been doing this same tour, same location for the last 10 years. Where, how do you evolve?
Um, this might sound a little funny, actually. I personally have been to a lot of different places, and then if we sit down either in a restaurant or at the campfire in the evening with our clients, we start talking, and then I have my ear at the client. This is the way I say I need to keep an ear on our clients to see or to listen, to hear where they would love to go.
Yes.
And then this is one of my ability, I can very quickly realize what they love and what they would love to do. And then I make a new tour just up in my mind, right on the spot, right in that situation. And then I talk about, yeah, we have done something like that. But if I listen to you, I can imagine you would love to do this and that. And then I create the next tour, basically sitting on a campfire or having a dinner in a restaurant. And
Yes.
then people like it. And then I promote it, and then I have the next tour. So I really go with where people want to go and
Yeah.
what they want to
That's
experience.
very, very
And
clever.
then on the other hand, I have to tell, without a coach, we wouldn't be where we are today. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's a great idea, you love it, it's your baby, but it's probably from a business point or economic point of view, not the best decision.
Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And this was, of course, I did mistakes, no doubt about that, but it saved me quite a few other mistakes to make because I bounced it on a coach.
Yes. Yeah. Ditto. I would say 100% the same thing. Just two more questions for you. What advice would you say to anyone that's listening and like aspiring entrepreneurs, maybe want to get into something similar to the space that you're doing, but in another part of the world, or just just to get out there and follow their passions? What would your advice to them be?
Yeah, just do it and you will have the power. And this comes to make a decision, and once you made a decision, go for it.
Yeah,
It,
nice.
it sounds simple, but it really melts down to it. because you can evaluate it, you can collect numbers, you can collect data and references and so forth. But at the end of the day, you are the product of your service or your product, and everyone is different. And therefore, all it needs is, yeah, a decision and then follow up and follow through.
When I left corporate, so my background is chartered accounting. And so when I left, it was really interesting how people said, "Oh, you can always come back when it doesn't work." Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for the, you're not going to make any money from, doing that or whatever. Now, the person in the organization that I admired the most, because I reported directly to him, one of the smartest people I've ever met, he said to me, "Rob, I'm so envious of you." He said, "I've never known anyone to follow their passion and fail." And I've always remembered that. But I also knew, like you said before, I knew well, I had it before day one, that I needed coaching so that I didn't just go chasing these shiny objects that were not going to be having me focused on the right pathway to replace my executive income in business. So, yeah. What would you say is next for you?
Next for me is and there's where I work on is pay closer attention to my numbers and make quicker decision based on your numbers or on my numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, nice, nice. I couldn't agree more with that too. Well, Sven, this is fantastic. If people, I'm going to put some links below this podcast, but if people, you've whetted their appetite now, like, wow, I want to go on one of Sven's experiences, how do people get in touch to find out more about what your tours are and so forth?
Yeah, the easiest to remember is megadrivingexperience.com, or our company name is TAB Different, which stands for Think Act Be Different.
Okay.
tabdifferent.com, and there you basically find everything. You can reach out to me or go on social media, you will find me.
And connect with you. Well, like I say, I'll put the links below here. Sven, you've made me very envious of the work that you do. I love how you've found that balance, I suppose, between the IT and following your passion to set up this highly successful business that you run around the world. It's really exciting, and it's an honor to have you on the show today and learn about what drives you. No pun intended there. And we've had some fun today. You've added some really, really great insights into success and entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much, Rob, for having me. And I can't wait to see you down under this year, I bet.
Yeah, terrific. And I appreciate the lateness of the hour in your country in doing this too. So thanks so much.
Thank you.